Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Twist999 back at it again with another Anime Last Stand video. Today we will be playing the new ReZero update. We're going to be evoing Subaru, White-Haired, Rimrom, Reinhardt, and Ladies Man. I don't know what ReZero is, never watched it, but all I know is I will be getting all these units, evo them, and doing a showcase and showing you how to beat Return by Death survival mode. So let's get into it. Do you want to solo the new Return by Death survival? Well, I'm about to show you the tutorial on how to do it. So basically, right, you place idle. You want to use Naruto, Giorno, Lelouch, and Jotaro. Make sure you have them extreme boosted, because if you don't, it's not going to work. So basically Giorno is going to carry by his scorpions. So you're going to place idle, then Giorno. So the scorpions are going to carry Giorno. So every time he gets a kill, he places these scorpions that stack up damage the longer they are, and I think they multiply by his death, maybe by his health. This of the enemy's max HP, this unit's current damage, road summons in range, plus 5 of their current damage is health per second. And they apply stun on contact, right? So you want to get as many of down as you possibly can. And they, over time, by the time the 100 trillion damage boss comes out, they will basically obliterate and have like a trillion health. So by the time the boss gets here, he's gonna be like 50 trillion, and by the time he gets here, he's gonna be dead from all the scorpions. So basically, you place everybody, and then make sure you upgrade your farms. Once all your farms are maxed, you're gonna start upgrading Giorno. You upgrade him as much as you possibly can. So after that, start upgrading Giorno. Make sure you have his soul and Glitch Glorious. Glitch Mystical work too. But make sure you have the Soul of Requiem on him as well. So when he gets full AoE, that's when he's going to obliterate because your other units aren't upgraded yet. See how many I have? By the time the boss spawns, they're going to have a trillion HP. Look at all these. It's kind of OP. Once Giorno starts struggling by killing them off spawn, you want to start upgrading your other units. I just put all of them on auto grade. So the units won't start hitting the scorpions that are slowly building up damage. As you can see, they're almost at 500 billion already. So once Giornos can't kill them by here, you should be fine. You should start upgrading them. As you can see, the boss is already at 60 trillion, barely walking by, and these scorpions are at 900 billion. 900 billion. And look, he's just getting completely freaking destroyed. So if y'all want your shiny Subaru, go ahead and get him. Easy. All you gotta do is use Giorno, and he basically solos. Easy macro, easy life. Wait, why do you use heavenly chat? Why do you use heavenly chat? He's stuns. Stuns and slows. Question real quick, what's that? Oh, Subaru's good, just got mystical on him. He mad good? Who's good? For leader buff Naruto, I thought it was Garu. Garu is ability made, and the mode you don't need. I'm not using abilities, so is Godly? I don't think so. You glitch. Why do you make noise? That's weird. Are they any good? Grimmy's already out of meta. Grimmy had one update, guys. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, and then also no, honestly, Grimmy's probably gonna be like, he's not gonna be better, but Grimmy will still be usable because he's so cheap. Yoga's still meta. Alright. Boom! Reinhardt Glitched Glorious Showcase. 5,000 to place. On placement, he does 38 million. And he has a random effect each attack. First new move is Mana Reaver, doing 319 million every 4 seconds. Next new move is Dragon's Roar, doing 1 billion. Full AoE! Full AoE! Maxed out, he's doing 2.4 every 6 seconds. He has an ability, deal 1 trillion damage for each time the target enemy has been affected by a different random effect from this unit. Deal plus 500 billion extra damage, cap of 4 trillion extra damage. Requirement, deal a total of 1 trillion million damage. 3 or more unique elements on the team. First passive, immune to all stuns. Then second passive, turns all debuffs into equal buffs. Third passive, all buffs directed to this unit are 2 times more effective. Bypass any form of defensive, including nuke resistant shields and special effects. Fourth passive, deal 50% damage in every second in range. Fifth passive, cannot be sold or deleted. Last passive, this unit absorbs elements from enemies entering his range, gaining fire. Fire enemies take 80% burn DOT damage, apply sunburn. Water, slows are 80% stronger, apply soaked. Nature, HP drains are 80% stronger, apply slow. Light, apply weakened and stun. Dark, all debuffs to the enemy are 80% stronger, apply despair and pressure. If an enemy of that element re-enters his range, the effects are reapplied after Holy Defensive Sword is activated once. All these effects are permanent to all enemies. Okay, so let's try out this first buff, alright? So it's doing 40, and then this will do... So he's getting 80% boost. Alright, well... Get Reinhardt, but I'm Team Simone. Go Team Simone. But he might be the best unit in the game right now. Get Reinhardt. GG's. Alright. Rom. 3 million on placement. New ability called Fura Blast. New ability called Fuel Fura for AoE. And then she gets a new ability. Upon activation, lasts 100 seconds, 400% damage, minus 10 SPA, 35% range. Disabled when magic applies a bleed type DOT every 5 seconds. Walk back all enemies for 5 seconds. After this duration, stun unit for 30 seconds. For him, his buff, Rom gains the same buff. His rim stun, Rom gains 20% damage and is immune to stuns. And it ends until the other one gets unstunned. Can attack outside her range, doing 50% less damage if enemy has hemorrhage. Deal full damage instead. Whenever enemies entered, 50% damage. This unit's range slow by 30%, and they take 40% more damage until they leave the area. Every 3 attacks immediately perform a follow-up. Cycles L, E, UL, AL. Damage follow-up, line AoE, wind sheared and bleed. UL damage follow-ups, full AoE, wind sheared dismantled. AL 300% damage follow-up, full AoE. It's looking for Cynthia is activated by either ROM or RIM. Cycles every 60 seconds. Lasts, but they're horrible. I mean, I guess if you pop this, it lasts for 100 seconds. But don't get this unit. It's not worth the time unless you're a collector. Right, and they're just so mid. No, because Lulu's been meta. He's never left meta since he's been in the game.
What's the Lulu's mid?
Who said Lulu's mid?
Dude right there. Does he know that? What's he done? You're a Halloween player, so
I've got freaking worries in like 5 freaking rolls already. I was gonna switch my death pearls.
I spawned in the game, bro, and I'm Team Gurren, so I guess we're winning.
Yep.
I'm million to 1.
Alright, Ladies Man Love Showcase. On placement, doing 17 mil. He costs 2,000 to place. A freaking huge circle AoE. He also has Fear and Pressure. New move called Instantaneous Destruction. It's a line doing 119 million every 4 seconds. New ability called Hydro Blast. Huge circle doing 730. And then his last upgrade does 1.3 billion. No ability, but passives. Immunity buffs and stuns every 60 seconds. Time stop enemies in range for 15 seconds plus per capped life unit. When an enemy is time stopped in range or a unit is stunned in range, gain effects based on that enemy element. Neutral Splinter do 0.5 damage and bleed per tick. Tsunami do 0.5 times damage every 20 seconds. Does soak, increase bleed DOT. Holy queso. Ban him. Nature Hurricane. Gain wind shear, under wind shear, take 20% more damage. Fire, increase burn type DOT for all units. And apply Scorched. Perfect Steel. Authority of Greed. Gain the total debuff damage from Miniature Monarchy as a flat damage buff. Miniature Monarchies. Up to 10 units within 20% of the range are marked wife units. Marked units gain -1 damage and -2.1 damage and .2 SPA per second. Capped at -20% damage and 40% SPA. Once 10 waifu units are reached, the cap forcibly gain all material control. What is that? Is that like an ability? Let's see. It's pretty good. Are these wife units? Or has it got to be females? Might have to be females. I guess it had to be females. These buns, don't get them. Not worth the trouble. Alright, Subaru Showcase. Glitch Glorious. On placement, he does 11 mil. Costs 600 to place. 4 upgrades in, he gets a move called Witch's Cheap Shot. Does 191 mil every 4 seconds. He gets a new move called Smoke Screen. Doing 1 bill every 4 seconds. And then his final upgrade does 1.5 bill every 4 seconds. He has 2 abilities on placement. One reduces the HP per second. The unit is dormant until HP is 0. And then Greed second shift, set stun, damage, and movement counters from authorizing Greed to 0. Time stop the entire map. Amount of stuns times 2. Divided enemies on the map. Seconds cap 75 seconds. Deal damage count times 1 trillion divided by enemies on the map. Damage permanently slow all enemies by movement count times 3 divided by enemies on map. Cap of 50%. If fewer than 5 enemies are on the map, deal an extra 10% max HP damage cap of 5 trillion in 15 seconds will be added to the time stop. And then passives. This unit has an HP bar cap of 100. -3 HP per stun received. -1 HP per debuff received. When HP hits 0, reset to 100. Permanently plus 10% damage uncap. Cannot lose HP for 15 seconds and walk back all enemies for 25 seconds. 100-second global cooldown. After the walk back for every other stun received, time stop all enemies for 2 seconds. 50-second cap. For every debuff received, enemies take plus 5% damage for 60 seconds. 200% cap. If an enemy is affected 3 times, send it to the spawn. Max 3 per enemy and deal 1.5 times stacks percent max HP cap of 1 trillion. Second passive. Authorizing Sloth. Attacks twice on separate timer. The extra attack only hits with enemies within 20% of range. Deals 250% of Suzuki's damage at 2 times his SPA. Third passive. Authorizing Greed. All stuns, debuffs, negative effects taken by allies in range are redirected to this unit. Contributed to death return. Tracks 3 counters, cap 200 each. Stun plus 3 per stun, plus 1 per damage, crit or crit damage debuff. And then movement plus 1 per range / debuff. So basically, every time someone in his range gets stunned, debuffed, or whatever, he takes it and puts it onto his 3 meters. Here, depending on what it is. So if I were to place the witch, max upgrade her, and then put the book on him, his stun greed goes up. And basically takes away his damage, so his health, so he can do more damage eventually. Or we can just pop the abilities and he loses health and stun and stuff. It's very complicated. I don't really know how he works, but he's kind of mid anyways. So get him if you want to.